Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Hold on. Before we go,
Yep.
let me check this pulse. Okay, we're good. Okay. Whew, deep breaths. Ladies and gentlemen, the curse has been lifted. I don't mean to alarm anybody, but the curse has seemingly been lifted for now. There's still lots of time left in this season for this curse to peek its ugly head back out. But for the time being, the Auddie James hosting Game Over curse has been lifted. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Game Over Calgary on the heels of a Calgary Flames overtime victory, 3-2 over the New York Rangers, live from the Scotiabank Saddledome here in Calgary. My name is Auddie James, joined by our e-bug tonight. Yes, we had to call the emergency backup out of here, and you guys are hopefully not sick of seeing James, because James is here yet again. Yeah, no, nobody gets tired of that beautiful face.
I'm in my David Ayers era.
Oh, is that?
You know?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
I know. I know where I am.
What was the Oilers guy who was the e-bug this year, but wasn't really an e-bug because they signed him to
Matt Berlin.
Matt Berlin. I hope his midterm went well. Hey, want to bet? Then get in on the action with Sports Interaction. The boys of summer are back on the diamond, and March Madness is on deck. Let's go, Blue Jays. Clap, 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 clap. Bet pregame, live and play, or on one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN, or if you're in the province of Ontario, download the app right now using the QR code at the bottom of the screen, which is right here if you're watching us right now. Download the app, scan the QR code if you're in the province of Ontario, and you can use Sports Interaction. Sports Interaction here, yeah, see, good product placement. You can download the app and use it in the province of Ontario. 19 plus, please play responsibly. And if you or anybody you know has any problems with gambling, please be sure to check the show notes and reach out. Lots of resources in there for you to get help. James Johnson, the Flames won. I got our good friend Insider J Money, who I'm not sure, I haven't seen quite in the chat yet. Robert saying the intro made me jump out of my skin. There's J Money. I tasked him with something. Did you know? Would you like to know what he was tasked with?
I'm going to guess it's your record hosting game overs.
Why, did he already post it?
No.
Oh well, you're correct. That's hit the nail on the head. So I sent him, before we get in breakdown this game and then talk about why I'm wearing for no reason at all my noted Alan Walsh client hat. I sent him my game over schedules and with the games that I've done so far this year, and I said, hey man, any chance, because I'm lazy as hell, that you would want to tally up my record and see how we're doing so far this year? And my overall record, would you like to take a guess? Including tonight, I've done, 25-8, 33 games in the season. And it's wins, losses, OT losses. So any guess as to what, and I'll let the chat do it as well, so you can think a little bit while I ramble, and the chat can catch up. Guess the record for what I've done so far on Game Over Calgary, because the numbers, everybody gets fascinated, especially you. You're a numbers guy. Everybody gets fascinated with the numbers. They want to see how Mr. Auddie James is doing, because I get the butt end of the stick when it comes to hosting Game Over and catching losses. James, in the 33 games I've hosted, what is my record?
Okay, so I know for a fact that you are 3-0-1 when I'm on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that everything
you
else,
also watch the show and you see everything else.
So I know it's probably like out of 33, I'm gonna say like 10. No, not even 10, like 8, and then like 12 and 3 or something, if my math is correct there.
That would be 23. 8, 12, and 3 is 23. So you're close. I'm waiting for chat to catch up too.
Let's go 13, 18. Or I can't do math, man.
Okay.
It is 10:50 at night.
It's late. You know what? We'll give you the break on this one. Don't math too hard and hurt yourself. We got a couple guesses.
Your record will be lower. Your record will be bad. That's all I'm gonna say.
We got a few guesses so far. Producer Roberts called up, by the way, from the assistant producer, the APHL, if you will. I'm going to be gonna be doing a lot more here with Berkshire going on holiday. So shout out to Robert. Thank you for
Nice.
always being the best mod and always being so helpful to us. Yeah, we appreciate you very much. Robert's guess is 10, 17, and 6.
That
And then
sounds about
Zoo
right.
is here too. Your boy Zoo. He's gonna go 8, 23, and 2. So those are the only two guesses we have so far. J Money cannot guess because he knows the correct answer as he did the math for me. I pulled a U. I don't want to do math this late at night. I said, hey, J Money. J Money says 32-0-1. And you know damn well that's a lie. Okay. Drum roll, please. Auddie James's record on Game Over Calgary, including tonight, is 15, 10, and 8.
Huh. That's a lot of overtime losses. That's actually, I guess at the start of the season things were going well, but that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
The
Like
Flames have.
you still
Yeah,
like
sorry,
it's
go
a
ahead.
losing record, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
So the Flames have 11 OT losses, and I've covered 8 of them. And I think that's why I'm so depressed, is because I just get my hopes up and this team finds. And full transparency, I was prepared to come on here. I texted James, I said, just in case things go sideways, be prepared for some angry Auddie, which we won't get to see tonight. But usually good teams find a way to win. The New York Rangers almost did that on consecutive nights. They found a way last night in Edmonton. They come back, they win it in the shootout. Lafreniere gets that dagger to win in the shootout. That guy right there behind JJ there. So it was close. It was almost a yelling night, and I was gonna go full, what's that guy's name? Full Steve Dangle. That guy who yells about the Leafs. I was gonna go full Steve Dangle and like angry, animated, but we don't have to do that. I do want to know though, James, in your expertise, your kind of analysis of tonight's game as I pull out my notes. What did you think of the start? What did you think of how it transpired? And ultimately, how did you feel in the finale of this game?
Yeah, so this was like the one game. The Flames have one game every like 2 to 3 weeks where it's actually like they play an interesting game, and like it actually was nice to watch an entire game, and I wasn't like actively like trying to flip to another hockey game. Like it was actually like it's once every like 2 weeks, and they play a very entertaining game, and it started off very, very fast. Like I just popped out of the shower and turned on the TV, and it was already 2-0, and I was like, and the time said like 18:48 or something, and I was like, what? Like
Crazy.
this,
Unprecedented start.
this team? Like,
Yeah.
and then, of course, Yaroslav Halak decided to save every other shot until overtime, but we'll get into that after. But I think it was nice, Calgary Flames hockey has not been enjoyable. I don't want to say it all this season, but it's been close to being not enjoyable at all. So it's nice to have like a game every now and then where you're not like just depressed.
Yeah, more often than not, it's been rough. And before we go any further, no Elias Lindholm in the lineup tonight. Congratulations to him and Annika, who the Flames announced that he would miss some time for the birth of their first child. I know how, and they're very open with their journey and how it's been up to this point with them trying to start a family but not being able to, and it brings me a lot of joy to see that they're able to finally start their little family, and all the best to them, Elias and Annika, on the birth of their potential birth. She might still be in labor. We haven't had an announcement yet, or nothing there, so we're looking forward to seeing that. But congratulations to Elias and Annika on that. So no Lindholm in the lineup tonight. Ruzicka draws back in, and look, I could agree with you. My pregame notes were one of the first things on the top of my pregame notes was Flames need a W badly, and they get that. A lot of people were talking leading into this game about perhaps seeing some fireworks, and I wholeheartedly disputed that there would be, just on the sole fact that like the Flames needed the 2 points more than they needed to make a point to Jacob Trouba and company about how they didn't appreciate some pretty big, clean, open ice hits that I frowned upon because I just despised Jacob Trouba. People, by the way, took that way out of context. Me saying that Trouba's a bum. He's not a bum because he leveled Dylan Dubé open ice and Nazem Kadri open ice. Clean hits. Yeah, he's a big guy. It's an immovable object. He's just a bum because I don't like him, and I don't think he's particularly good at defense. I just think that all he does is hit, but that's okay. That's for another time. The Flames win, and we don't have to dwell too much on that at all. Justin pointing out points in 23 Auddie games, which is important to note if you're a loyal listener of the show. And points, talking about points, Mangiapane's first goal, pretty goal. Great individual effort. I think he played a good game. The Kadri goal was nice. I think Peltier is still starting to kind of find his feet, and I think he's making a mistake here and there, which I think is to be expected with a guy like that. An interesting note, though, the Flames are the first team in NHL history to score 2 goals in the first minute twice in the same season. So that's the first time that's ever happened, and that happened on December 20th, and then tonight. That's an NHL record. The most times that the more you know. Thank you, Sportsnet stats.
Of course, it's this team too.
Yeah. All right.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. This we're like Steve says, that the guy again. Adults aren't real. We're all just kids, like a bunch of kids piled up in trench coats. A lot of people, Nate pointing out my hat. Yes, noted Alan Walsh client. We'll get into that in a little bit here. But I guess like to kind of put a bow on it, I wanted to talk a little bit about the game, but I want to talk about more storylines. There's been a long time since you and I, the viewer, and you and I, James, have had the opportunity to talk about the Flames, and a lot has transpired since then. Markstrom, I think, and you can agree or disagree. I'd like to know your takes. Was big when called upon. That second goal was a tough one. It was a squeaker. Did it hit Coleman's stick? I don't know. Did Coleman tap it in? I don't know. Either way, it's a tough one. Just needed like a couple more inches there, and he probably would have made that save. But I think he looked pretty good tonight. Would you agree, disagree?
I would agree with that. I think it was a Markstrom that he looks like he kind of did last year. And that was nice because even though I think like he finished at just a 900, which is still like not fantastic, but it's a very large upgrade from what we've seen last season or this season. Sorry. So I think he did get lucky. Like Jimmy Vesey missed a wide open net, and
they hit a couple posts.
He did rob Zibanejad on that one shot, and that costed me a bet tonight. So I'm a little mad with Markstrom, but it was nice to see him not be. I don't want to be mean, but not be the Markstrom that he's been for most of the season. Like, I'm sure the guy has been through a lot of struggles personally and stuff. So it's nice when you have a game where you're relied upon and you get the win. So it's nice. He was good.
A lot going on in the personal life too, and that's something I think a lot of people tend to forget. Newly engaged, I know that feeling. It's a great feeling, but it's busy. I won't lie. It's busy expecting their first child. Like there's lots of external factors that weigh in on it. And I hope to God that everything kind of works itself out for him and he kind of returns back to what he was. Let's see here. One more game note or two more game notes before we talk about some trending topics here and see what our chat is saying. Is Dubé finally finding his identity? I feel like Dylan Dubé for the longest time, and I had lunch today with Julian, and this is something that him and I talked about as well, was Dylan, and he's kind of always been one of those guys since he's joined the team, who kind of like Sam Bennett for a long time was always like a part of this team, but nobody really knew like what's your role, what's your identity as not only a member of this team, but as an NHL player in general. Is Dylan Dubé kind of finding his way as that middle six guy who's got speed and can show signs of scoring touch. Because I think as of late, he's been playing some of the best hockey of his career.
Yeah, like through the first half of the season when he was playing on a line with Mangiapane and Kadri, things were just not working.
Yeah.
And Dubé's always been a guy that I've just kind of been like, give or take. Like if he's there, he's there. If he's not, whatever. But over the past, I want to say like 15 to 20 games, when he's been on that line with Lindholm and Toffoli, he's really just come into his own. And I mean, I always make the joke about him in like an alternate jersey. He always seems to just take an extra step. And it seems like now he's taking that extra step even if he's not wearing an alternate jersey. So yeah, it's good to see. And I mean, he's
Absolutely.
from Cochrane, right? Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
rooting for him. So yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would wholeheartedly agree with you, and I want to flip it to the chat too. Let us know what you guys think about how Dylan Dubé is kind of evolving as an NHL player. And the last point I wanted to make before we get into some more trending stuff is Jonathan Huberdeau. I think maybe it's an exaggeration for me. I'd love to know if you could talk me off the ledge a little bit. One of his best games as a Calgary Flame tonight. I
Oh yeah.
think he played himself a whale of a hockey game. And I found, I think they maybe said it. No, they were talking about Markstrom when they said vintage Markstrom. But we saw some vintage Huberdeau tonight. And I think a lot of that might have to do with um, familiarity and finally a little bit of comfort on that line. His line mates are able to kind of gel a little bit more and know where to go. Like I find part of Huberdeau's game is that he he's a great puck distributor and can set plays up like it's nothing. But without the right line mates who know where to be, it's like fitting a square peg into a round hole. Right? It's
Yep.
tough. It's tough. And I think we're finally starting to see Nazem Kadri, Jacob Pelletier. They're moving well in the offensive zone. And that's something that I think Huberdeau strives on as well, is fluidity in the offensive zone. Everybody moving. And it's less stationary, which I think it complements Huberdeau's game as well. I just kind of wanted to see your two or hear your 2 cents on what you think about my aforementioned points and how Huberdeau played tonight.
Yeah, like Huberdeau is that was
Huberdeau.
definitely his best game as a Flame, I think. He was doing spinorams and dipsy doodles and just like I think he probably could have had 3 to 4 assists if like Kadri that got saved, that was a nice chance, and then he made a nice pass to Anderson like right after.
Yeah.
Was that on the same shift? I can't remember, but like he going from a team in Florida last year, which was very exciting. I want to
Mm-hmm.
say that very exciting, where you're up and down, uh, east west. I want to say, and just distributing. I can't even speak,
You're
man.
doing great, honey.
Distributing the puck to just everywhere, and obviously when you're coming to Calgary and playing north south exclusively, and going in, forechecking, passing the puck back to the point, taking point shots. That, as you said, it doesn't fit Huberdeau's game. So
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to see that whether it's Huberdeau blending his game or Calgary kind of blending their game to fit in with Huberdeau or his line mates, but hopefully they can continue because Calgary needs Huberdeau to be a player,
Especially next year when the extension
considering they
kicks in.
just
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. It comes on the heels of something that we're going to talk about next, which was his
Mhm.
agent and our lovely coworker here at SDPN, Alan Walsh, making some comments about the Calgary Flames, which we're going to get into. They talked about it on the CJ show today, or they planned on talking about it on the CJ show in the episode that was supposed to be released today. A shameless plug for the CJ show. Him and Julian do a great job. It was supposed to be talked about on today's CJ show, but then the Leafs went and did this thing late in the night where they acquired that. Oh yeah, O'Reilly, a Cherry, and that Pillar guy for a boatload of
Other
picks.
dude.
And yeah, other
Yeah.
dude, throw in who's probably going to be like the next superstar. But they did that thing, and then the CJ show, him and Julian had to pretty much scrap it. Producer Nick had it scheduled to go up and everything, and they had to pivot and make a new episode today. But we're going to cover it today on the Game Over Calgary show because it's relevant to the Calgary Flames. Okay, 42 people in the chat. We'd love to have you here. Be sure to hit the like button. Share the stream if you are enjoying it. Get some more like-minded Flames fans in here. And we'll go through some of the comments here before we pivot and talk about our good friend Alan Walsh. Okay, Robert says the APHL, the Assistant Producer Hockey League, to the show. That's a call up. That's a huge call up. That's bigger than Matty Phillips getting called up. That's bigger than Jacob Peltier getting called up. Robert being called up to the big leagues, but we appreciate it. We're looking forward to it. Lots of OT losses because that's how we lose. Yep, that's right. Let's see here. That's why I'm so depressed. Who needs therapy when you got Game Over Calgary and plenty of non-therapists to listen to you vent? That one coming from Nate. That is accurate as all hell. Zoo says, do we know why Kadri was kicked out yet? Insider J Money replying to that later on and saying, Sutter in the presser said that Kadri misconduct to open OT came from after they warned him for arguing his third period penalty. So it was just a little bit of yip. And
Okay.
and referees are throwing out misconducts like it's nothing now.
Yeah, that was weird, man. That was, that was
Very,
so weird.
very. Let's see here. Auddie's hat game is on point. Once again, talking about the Alan Walsh hat. You can get that on the SDPN merch site. If you head over to the SDPN website or hit my link tree, it'll take you right to the merch site. That was the real Huberto. I want to see Ruzicka on that line for a few games. I don't know if you break that up right now as it's kind of starting to hit its stride. And like we just talked about the chemistry and how things are seemingly getting better for that line. I don't think you break it up and disrupt that by throwing Ruzicka in the fold.
No, I just don't think Ruzicka ever should have been taken off like the top line, even though
Yeah.
Dubé is playing fine there now. But him, Lindholm, and Toffoli actually, I think, are still Backlund, Coleman, Mangiapane is the best Flames line by far.
Yep.
Like just
Yep.
the best line in history. But Ruzicka, Lindholm, Toffoli were really good, and I don't know, consistency, blah blah blah, young player, but I don't know. I liked what I saw, and if you need to switch things up, he's definitely the guy to plug back in.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Justin saying I had Dubé in all my Eichel proposals. Like a lot of people
Oh,
did. That ship has sailed though.
I missed that. I missed that time.
What a time for Flames Twitter when everybody was divided. You either wanted Eichel or you didn't. And I think that was the beginning of the end for the toxicity on Flames Twitter when everybody was in that great Eichel debacle. Left-handed penman. All right, Dylan Dubé has bounced around and plugged in everywhere. Bottom six, left, right, center. He finally gets put consistently next to Lindy, and he's been able to find it. That's a great point. Zoo saying the chemistry between Dubé and Toffoli has been excellent. Nice to see Dubé clicking with someone and finding a role on this team. Amon saying thank you, Mr. Walsh, for the vintage Huberto tonight. Nate, loving my "you're doing great, honey." And Maxim, how are you, buddy? We finally won in overtime. That's correct. And finally, the Auddie curse just dies down a little bit for the foreseeable future. Okay, what I wanted to get into now, as we J Money loves it when I say this, but I stole it from Peter Klein. As we put a bow on this episode of Game Over Calgary, I wanted to talk about the Alan Walsh stuff because I think it was this league lacks a lot of things. One of the things it clearly lacks is personality and stuff like things that Mr. Walsh said, like calling out. I can't remember the exact tweet. I should have pulled it up, but something along the lines of, can we find it?
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. Negativity, something,
and expecting the same results. Yeah, either way, taking a shot at the Flames and their lack of willingness to adapt, it seems. The negativity that is surrounding the team right now. And I just want to know, before we get into Sutter's response to that, what did you think about the quote from Mr. Walsh?
Alan, you're a king. You're a goddamn king. Also, unblock me on Twitter, please. If not, I will just look at your tweets on my private like I do right now.
Yeah.
But it would save me a step, and that would be nice. But
Yeah.
I think him calling out Sutter is completely fine. I think behind the scenes there have been a lot of things that haven't been very, very nice.
Yep.
And obviously, Sutter has a history of when things aren't working, players shut him out. And the LA Kings locked him out of their dressing
That
room.
was a thing.
And we know how things ended in Calgary the first time, and maybe how they'll end the second time, fingers crossed. But anyways, um, I think the NHL coaches, I don't think they play. I think they play a role in motivation, and that's the main focus. I think systems, there's a little bit of a difference, but I don't think it matters too much. I think an NHL coach is there to motivate. And we see this season there's been a lot of change in Boston, Vegas, Dallas, Winnipeg, Florida. They all changed their coaches, and I would say 4 out of those 5 teams are doing really well, and
Yep.
one of them hired Paul Murray. So, you know,
Yep.
that's another
They did.
that's but like NHL coaches are hired to be fired. When
Right.
their message gets stale, you punt them out the door and you bring in a guy like Bruce Boudreau,
Mm-hmm.
and he does what he did to the Canucks last year, where he's like, I'm going to motivate you guys and things are going to go a lot better. And as we know, in Calgary this year, things have been a struggle. So I liked it. I mean, it sparked Huberto tonight.
Yep.
So hopefully, hopefully that continues.
Yeah.
But
As far as I'm concerned, nobody take Alan Walsh's phone away from him. Keep
no,
tweeting. Keep tweeting. And
absolutely.
and yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree. I think that's it's nice to see stuff like that every now and then, and it's nice when it's local talent from the SDPN. We like to see our guys thriving, and Mr. Walsh, thank you very much for doing that. That was awesome, and keep doing it. Keep doing it. And I wore the noted Alan Walsh client hat in honor of that. So I wanted to make sure I showcased it because it's also one of my favorite hats. It's quite comfy.
It's a good hat.
Go ahead and get yourself one. Many colors on the SDPN merch site. Shameless plug. Sutter's response was that basically players don't give a shit about what is said on social media, to which I reply, bullshit. Bull
Mm-hmm.
fucking shit, Mr. Sutter. Immediately after that, Eric Francis put out a tweet about Dan Vladar breaking his stick over the crossbar in practice, to which, hey, this team doesn't give a shit about social media. Dan Vladar replies to the tweet. It was in good taste. It was fun. I thought it was a fun reply. It wasn't like he was telling Francis to go fuck himself. He just was like, yeah, you know what? I would take that bet. He's like just poking back, winky face. Fun stuff. We like to see personalities come through. And here we are with Dan Vladar replying to Eric Francis about that. But bullshit, because it happened right then and there immediately after Sutter put that quote out into the world. Not only that, but as Nate points out, players don't care about social media. Milan Lucic says bullshit also, because anybody who puts him in a tweet, whether good or bad, excuse me, catches a block as well. I put out some tweets about Lucic's deployment. This was before the oh my God, what's Lucic doing tweets. I put tweets out about his deployment, which is nothing to do with him and everything to do with the coach, and I caught a block. I'm not proud of it. You don't want to get blocked by people, but it is what it is, and hopefully maybe one day he'll unblock me. But yeah, it's bullshit to suggest that players don't care about social media. They see it. Milan Lucic name searches. That's the only way he knows about my tweet and his deployment and how other people talk about. Right, Mighty Might Roar, left-handed penman, right in the chat. Brad Marchand, prime example. tweeting back to Steve, which was fucking
That
amazing.
was so funny.
That was amazing, and they talked about it on SDP, and it was great. Everybody had a good laugh out of it. I like it though. I like when players have a bit of fun on social media. They're people too. Let them do
Yes.
what they want to do. Personality is important.
Thank you. Thank you. NBA, man. Look at
Yes.
the NBA. They have dunk competitions where they bring in this random guy, and I don't even know his name, and he just made a super sick dunk. And I don't watch basketball. I'm gonna say that straight up. But like the NHL used to be like up there with the four major one like sports, and now we might get a cap increase of like $1 million, and that's amazing. That's amazing.
Fucking if that, maybe, because Bally Sports is going under. And
Yeah.
that's not going to help for
Yeah.
hockey-related revenue. But even look at the NFL. Juju Smith-Schuster put out a fucking Valentine thing, and AJ Brown replied to it. Juju replied to it. Other guys across the league were chirping Juju, defending AJ. Like, that's fucking awesome. Give me that in the NHL. Give me Connor McDavid chirping the shit out of like Tony DeAngelo, and then the entire league dogpiling on top of Tony DeAngelo. Give me some fucking emotion. Show me something that like is gonna make me want to watch your product. Like, give me storylines outside of this. Give me storylines that they can talk about. I'm watching After Hours right now. Boring as shit. After Hours. Like, give me shit that is engaging. I don't give a fuck about what Elias Pettersson is up to these days with Scott Oak. Give me some content that is worth my time. And that right there is worth the price of admission every time. If you didn't know who Juju Smith-Schuster was before the Super Bowl, you sure as shit did after you saw that tweet and you saw everybody piling up on him. That's going to be my rant. Give me fucking personality. I love it, and I am here for it. That's a lot of fun.
I love it. Boom. Mic drop.
Mic drop. Mic
we all know
drop.
We all know the player. I'm not going to say every single, but most players either have their own Twitter, Instagram account, or they have some random burner that says like Joe Smith 3946.
NYR fan.
Yeah. NYR fan. That's a good one. Yes.
Tony D.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
But we know every player or most players read social media. I don't buy that it has zero effect on the locker room, because I think, I don't know, but I have a very strong suspicion that a lot of the tweets that, whether it be me or you or anybody puts out, a lot of players are probably going to read that. And maybe it's like posted on the Flames locker room wall. It's like a picture of my face, and it's like me calling out whatever, and they just play darts on my face like before the game, like motivation.
I doubt it.
I also doubt. I don't think they know who I am.
You never know. Hey, at least Julian knows who you know. We talked about you at lunch today.
Did you?
We did. Yeah, we brought up some stuff. I'll talk to you about it after. It was actually quite fun. Look, it was a good game. It was a good win. The Calgary Flames are back in the win column. I am back in the win column. I have a winning record, 18 or 15, 18. I don't know what it was. Either way, I'm okay. I'm doing well. We're gonna start this up and up and up and up and up, and eventually the Auddie stonks, and then the Auddie James hosting duties on Game Over are going to be talked about in a more positive light when we start stringing some wins together here, and I get to host some more wins. Look, and last call as we put a bow on this episode. That one's for you, J Money, of Game Over Calgary. Last call for any questions or comments. But while we wait for some more, James Johnson, our e-bug of the evening. Jess Belmosto was supposed to be here, but she unfortunately could not make it, so we will get her back on another time, host of Locked On Flames. James Johnson, tell everybody where they can find you and what you're up to, as if nobody knows, because you're pretty much a regular on the show now. But the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Well, you were just talking about getting into the win column.
There we go. Hey, good one.
And if you like the Flames and want to learn more, or read some. Sometimes we do funny stuff. Sometimes we do analytical deep dives, and whether it be this or that. But the wincolumn.ca, we have fantasy, we have flame stuff, we have NHL stuff, we have Cap Friendly Friday, which is what I love doing. I do that every Friday. We have everything. So that's at Win Column Calgary. My personal Twitter and Instagram is at James Johnson YYC. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, we are getting a new member of the Win Column next week. So
Eyes emoji. Eyes emoji. I don't even know that, and I haven't even put out my first piece yet. But I got to work on something for the Win Column. I'm looking forward to it. Look, I appreciate everybody for stopping in, being a part of the chat. You guys are awesome as always. If you're listening on playback, we appreciate you as well. Be sure to give us a rating on your favorite podcatcher. Subscribe to SDPN. Be sure to like the stream on your way out. Bump those numbers up. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Robert for being in here to moderate. Thank you for all of the wonderful comments and the great discussion on this episode. Thank you to Sports Interaction for sponsoring today's show and sponsoring our entire season. Thank you to SDPN Sports for giving us the opportunity to talk about this game. And thank you once again to all of you for watching. We will talk to you on Monday. Peter Klein will be hosting. It's a 2 o'clock Mountain Time start, Family Day against the Philadelphia Flyers, live from the Scotiabank Saddledome. Peter will have your game over. Until then, pals, stay safe. Thanks for stopping by, and we will talk to you on the next episode of Game Over Calgary. Adios, you little devil.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.